Episode 241. The Plan. Lila Cox is now locked up. How can it be? Serena was scared, grabbing on Jake's sleeve. She was afraid. What does she want?
Don't be afraid, it's not her.
Jake blinked as he had an idea.
The person just wants to scare you. Now they can't do anything to you.
Who is it?
The Cox family, or the Smith family.
The Smiths? That is Mrs. Cox's maiden family?
Yeah.
He nodded.
I will send you to the old house first. It's a bit dangerous to live here all by ourselves right now. I think if you stay at Grandpa's, you'll be much safer.
She nodded, and he gave the two bodyguards a look. The two bodyguards immediately noticed, closed the doors and windows, and left. Serena packed up a few simple clothes, but still felt that something was wrong.
The Cox family has been a mess. Nobody knows where Michael Cox has been, and his wife is still in jail and is sick. Lila has been losing the last of her sanity and is admitted to a mental hospital. Even Julia was not allowed to contact Amelia by her uncle's family. It seems like the Coxes are helpless. If the Smiths are smart, they should know to stay away from the Cox family. Why do the Smiths still want to help Michael Cox?
Jake kept thinking to himself. After he said that, she was reminded of the mysterious force that had helped Lila in her previous lifetime. Previously, she had thought that it had something to do with Stephen Wrong. But now that Stephen was with Miranda, there was no way he would do anything to drive her away. Miranda would never betray Jake, and Stephen would never go against Miranda. Then, who was behind the mysterious force? Serena frowned, looking at Jake. He looked into her eyes, and his eyes were bright. He explained.
There was an interest involved. Mrs. Cox had married Michael Cox only for the sake of money. The Smith family have taken orders from the Coxes for many years for the same reason. Although the Coxes are now powerless, the Smiths still want to rely on their power and make sure to secure their own interests.
After a pause, Jake continued.
Michael Cox is in San Francisco. He has been contacting a gang. When I sent people to track him down, they accidentally bumped into their transfer meeting. My people were almost killed there.
Meeting? Serena had a bad feeling. Drugs? He looked at her, and his eyes became darker as he nodded gently.
Yes. So this time when Michael Cox comes back from San Francisco, he will definitely bring cash or drugs. I have arranged for people to wait for him. When he reaches the airport, if he is not smart enough, he will be besieged. We will have him and the Smiths right where it hurts. He could come by air or sea. We don't know, but I will sure as hell have my eyes open. I will make sure this time I put him away for good.
Serena was a bit shocked. Jake had always been intolerant when it came to his enemies. As long as they were still a threat, he would never let them hover. She did not know whether this was a merit or a shortcoming, and she was troubled with unspeakable concerns. It seemed as though he could see her thoughts. Gently holding her, he whispered,
I don't want something like this to happen again. There will not be a second time. I want our child to be born and grow up safely.
Be careful. I always feel like it will not be so simple. Serena hugged him back, gazing into his eyes. Michael was an old fox. Now he had nothing. If he decided to make a desperate attempt, they could simply not afford to risk it. He had nothing to lose. They had everything.
It doesn't matter. Even if we can't get the evidence of Michael's crimes, his debts will be enough to make him suffer. For that much money, he would spend at least 24 or so years in jail. And when he comes out, he will be an old man.
Jake pressed his forehead against hers and he whispered softly,
Do you think that your man is not stronger than an old man?
Serena could not smile at all. She gently pushed him and said, Be careful, Jake. They are a vicious family. One never knows what they're up to. Even Lila suddenly declaring herself as mentally unstable? I think it's very odd. Jake had also considered this. But at this moment, as he heard Serena say it, he felt quite amazed. Touching her hair, he said,
Mrs. Robinson, you are getting better and better.
Hey, I have always been good.
Is that right? Which part? Let me see it.
He then reached out to touch her face.
Here? Here? Or here?
His big hand moved down, feeling her neck and chest. Serena blushed and slapped his hand away. Stop it! Pack up and go to the old house.
All right. Let's go back there to get some sound sleep,
he said mischievously. You are terrible.
I just said sleep. What are you thinking?
Sending Serena back to the old house to get some rest, Jake did not rest with her, but called someone in San Francisco.
How was it?
He's already boarded the plane. It will arrive at 7 tomorrow morning. The flight number is... Before he finished, Jake heard the polite voice of the flight attendant there. I will turn off the phone now and call you back when I land.
Okay.
Hanging up the phone, Jake called up Miranda.
Send the proof that Michael Cox misappropriated public funds and breached his contract to Daniel Brown. Call the man in Liam Costco's company and inform him of Michael's whereabouts.
Very well. Jake hung up and then called Drake Howard.
Keep an eye on whether Michael Cox has appeared at the Austin airport. When you get a chance, arrange the hunting. Okay.
He also reinforced Lila's guards just in case. The Cox family had no one but Michael Cox on the outside. Without Michael, the Smiths too would be nothing. After he solved this matter, he would resume with his wedding planning on the agenda. He turned on the computer and looked at the scene he had designed by himself. He wanted to take her to Ireland and give her the most beautiful dream wedding. Certainly, it would be unforgettable. Serena took Lila's diary and sat on the edge of the bed. The diary recorded her expectations for the baby in the first 3 months. The words were filled with maternal love and expectations. But after a little over 3 months, it stopped, and there was nothing later. Was she imprisoned by Jake later on? Or had she discovered that the child was not his? Serena felt that she was pathetic. She flipped through the book, and a page randomly revealed. It was easy to tell that this page was often used, because there was an obvious gap which made the book open this way. On this page, a sign was drawn, depicting a flame in the shape of a wolf head, with a star in the center. The clear lines were drawn with a colored pen. What sign was this?